I want to talk to you guys about The Division 3. I've seen a lot of people talking about this on and off for years now, but it seems to have picked up some traction again. So I want to talk to you, I want to run you through a brief description of the history of this franchise, and I want to let you know that I strongly believe The Division 3 is never coming. There are some players out there, myself included, that would enjoy seeing a Division 3, but there are lots of people out there that won't give it the time of day, and that's totally understandable based on what the developers have done with The Division 2. And it all started back in 2016. We're talking nearly 7 years ago now. And it started with The Division 1, the game released, everyone loved it, and then they started messing up with the updates and everything, and then from what I do believe, Red Storm came in and they saved it. They helped Massive Entertainment sort out their problems and get The Division 1 to, be the fantastic game that it is. But then shortly after they released The Division 1, they started working on The Division 2. So that's probably why there were a lot of issues and stuff in The Division 1 to begin with, because they were focusing a lot of their resources and their developers and stuff on creating a brand new game. And then it came to the announcement and they gave this PR speech that was trying to basically hype players up, and they said they've learnt from their mistakes in The Division 1. Then in March of 2019, The Division 2 released, and the story was fantastic. It was getting praise all over the place. The reviews were positive from every different angle. Then players reached the end game, and that's where it went downhill. And it never stopped going downhill after that. They had issues with the world tiers. Then we eventually got an expansion, and the expansion locked players out of a lot of content unless they purchased it. But that expansion had a bug that stopped players being able to play the paid expansion for an entire 24 hours. But they had lots and lots of issues, and then they just pretty much abandoned the game. They left it for 18 months. And they've got a lot of their developers now working on Avatar. They've got developers probably working on Star Wars. They have 2 AAA games that they are creating, one of which is supposed to be releasing this year in 2023. They also have developers working to create content for a 5th year of The Division 2. Then they've got people that need to be working on creating the Star Wars game. And Avatar hasn't released. Frontiers of Pandora is not released yet. It was supposed to come at the end of 2022, but they delayed it. And from what I remember, that game's been spoken about, and I think it was first announced in 2017. Or it was something like that. It's been a long time now, and they still haven't finished that game. So the entire studio, Massive Entertainment, they're under a lot of stress. They've got an entire 5th year of content they need to make. Whether it's seasonal content, they don't do a lot. They create a bit more of a story and then rinse and repeat, just coming up with different names and different bosses. It's the same stuff every single season. Every single 3 months, providing they release it all on time. It's the same thing over and over again, but they still have to create that content. So they're working on an entire 5th year for The Division 2 and 2 extra AAA titles. I don't think The Division 3 is coming, because when they released The Division 1 in 2016, they started work on Div 2. It took 3 years for them to develop it and get it released to the public. So you would think if they were working on The Division 3, it would have roughly a 3-year development cycle. And if they started working on it when The Division 2 released, we would have seen that game by now. We haven't even had an announcement of any sort. In fact, they've gone, we're going to do The Division Resurgence on mobile. We're going to let Red Storm, who left us a year after the release of The Division 2, we're going to let them work on The Division Heartland. We're going to keep expanding the universe of The Division. I've heard that the movie's in trouble for The Division. So there's a lot of stuff that is not going to plan. It is not going how they wanted it to go. But if they had started development on The Division 3, we would have heard about it by now, because it's been almost 4 years since the release of The Division 2, and we haven't even had an announcement. So I don't think they are working on it. If they are going to work on it, I think they would release the Avatar game first. And then they've messed up with the Avatar game, because I believe they should have released it alongside the release of, is it Way of the Water, the Avatar movie? They should have done that to cross-promote each other and build each other up. but they failed to reach the deadlines for whatever reason. They had to delay it. It didn't come out alongside the movie, so they've messed up on that front as well. So the hype's not going to be anywhere near as big for the Avatar games. There was already a lot of people that weren't interested in Avatar. But if they are to release The Division 3, I think it's going to be at least 3 years of development. It's probably going to be a current gen only. It won't go to the Xbox One and the PS4. If they are working on it, or if they are planning to start working on it, I don't think it will be until Avatar is released, and then 3 years after that. So I think if we're going to see The Division 3 ever, it's not going to be until at least 2026. But it is all like speculation. There's nothing at all to officially confirm anything of what I've said. I just thought I would get my opinions out there and like basically discuss it with the community, because I've seen a lot of content creators start talking about The Division 3 again, and I can't see it coming anytime soon because of Avatar, because of Year 5 starting on Div 2, because of the Star Wars game they're working on. Like Red Storm are creating Heartland, so that's nothing to do with it. That's just a continuation in the Division universe. But another problem is Red Storm created the PvP side of the Division 2, and Red Storm haven't worked on the Division 2 since about a year after it launched. They left very, very early, so the whole of the PvP component of the game has been neglected the entire time, and therefore if we do see a Division 3, unless they can get Red Storm back in, I don't think there's going to be any conflict. There's not going to be any Dark Zone or anything like that. I think it'll probably just be led to a PvE, co-op and single player experience. But I don't know, they could hire another team. Red Storm could go back and work with them. Again, that's if they are ever going to work on Division 3. But we are going to wrap that video up there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about all of this in the comments. And check out this video if you want to see other content on the channel. I will see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.